first fireside chat where we want to introduce you to ego science and what we can do for you. I have with me today Dr. Bob Cornett, who is a 3-time retired superintendent and my mentor. Dr. Bob, why don't you tell us just a little bit about your involvement with ego science?
Well, the way I perceive it, my role as rector is one of several people. I will be overlooking them. We serve basically as guides or a counselor, if you will, to help the people on their path for self-enlightenment. That we don't give you the answers, but we help guide you to it. Everybody is individual, so the whole entire program is individualized to meet the needs of the individual person. The main thing is, Charlie, what is ego science to those who don't know what it is?
That's a great question, Bob. Ego science, let's start with the name itself. A little bit of a funny name, right? Ego is just another name for self. Science is the Latin term for knowledge. So ego science is ultimately all about self-knowledge. In fact, that's the first cornerstone that we start with at ego science, is helping individuals understand who they truly are at their core. Then we go a step further and help them understand what their purpose is in life, what their purpose is, what is their dream, so that they can live their dream. And third, we actually give them the tools, the techniques, the methods that will help them to unlock their potential, to empower themselves, and to live their dream.
Okay, but I am a successful business person. Just use an example. I'm a successful business person. I have everything. I make money. I have a beautiful home, a beautiful wife, 2 lovely little children, everything like that. What could ego science give somebody like me where I've got everything I want and I need nothing?
Well, it really just depends on how happy you are with your role in life, how happy you are with what you've become, the dreams that you had when you were a youth, and did you accomplish that? Do you feel fulfilled? Really, ego science is all about fulfillment, and ultimately reaching the ultimate goal that you were born to achieve, and helping you to find it and to unlock your potential to achieve it. Now, if you're already happy in life, if you have everything that you want, everything's going your way, and there's no stirring in you to want something more out of life, or questions about is there more to life, then maybe ego science isn't for you. However, if you, like many people, are living the life that others want you to lead, and you find that you're not fulfilled, you're not fully happy, you wish you had done something more with your life, and you feel perhaps it's too late, and a lot of times this feeling comes up in middle ages, when you seem to be successful, but you really you didn't turn out the way that you thought you would when you were younger. Ego science helps you to define what your dream is in life, and it shows you concrete steps, responsible steps to take to actually pursue your goals, pursue your dream, and to live the life that you want to live, and how to uncover and throw away all of the trappings that other people have put on you, that they said your life should be this way. And that's the main purpose and the goal of ego science.
For the benefit of those out there, how does ego science? It is an academy, folks, composed of 12 units. Each unit, as I said earlier, is individualized along a specific criteria and title. But how does ego science differ from some of these other self-help programs that we see advertised out there?
That's an excellent question. So ego science does use many of the methods and techniques that other self-help organizations will use. we used the best of what works, obviously. One fundamental difference about how ego science may work better for people is we start with changing your mindset. A lot of self-help organizations out there, they start with where you are. They give you techniques and tools to use to try to to help you improve your life. You either use it or you don't. You find out if it works for you or it doesn't work for you, and you're on your own. Ego science will actually strip away all of the negative programming that society has really just built up inside of you over the years, starting with your parents and starting with the school system and everything that has been programmed into you by the current materialistic society that we live in, and that's prevalent all around the world. And it strips that away, and it gives you a basis, first of all, for which to see the world in a way that empowers you to make a change, in a way that helps you see past your limitations, and in a way that will, again, help you to identify with something higher inside of you that gives you the power to do the things that you were born to do, and it and helps really strip away the roadblocks that prevent you from taking those actions to live the life that you want to live in the first place.
Okay, on that note, like I said, it's individualized for everybody. Therefore, some people may want to pursue wealth. Some people may want to pursue knowledge. Some people may want to pursue self-fulfillment, whatever the course might be. How do you propose that we individualize this to meet the needs of everybody?
Well, again, ego science in course number 1 and course number 2, ego science again strips away a lot of who people think that they are, of the things that others have told them that they are, and helps the individual actually define for themselves who they actually are, helps them to get to know themselves from their very core. Again, that's the first step. The second step is we help them to dig within themselves, to search at their subconscious level, and to uncover the strengths, the aptitude, the dreams that they were born with, the inner calling that everyone has, that once they find it and they're on that path, things almost magically seem to happen for them. Life becomes colorful for them, and it's different for every individual. We were all born for a different experience in life, and ego science will help them to uncover within themselves what that is, and help them to flesh it out, and to really get their arms around it, so that for the first time, maybe in most people's lives, they actually understand what it is that they would be good at, and what it is that would bring them joy and fulfillment in life. And it is that thing, from that point, where the methods and the techniques that ego science has used, which, by the way, not only are techniques and methods that are the best techniques out there on the market today, but they're also techniques that date back to the ancient times, techniques that are tried and true, that have worked for centuries and millennia. And we help them to actualize who they are, actualize their dream, and make it a reality. And that is how we can. So there's a systematic way of doing it that can work for each individual, but the results are going to be different. So we don't make them cookie cutter people. There's something unique and individual and special inside of everyone, and we help them to uncover that, and then we help that to blossom.
Okay. In developing the academy, it's composed of 12 different units. You did not write each one of these units. It's my understanding that you had some of the best writers in the world help compose this and researchers. Could you tell us a little bit about how you went about developing just one of the courses and maybe some of the people involved and how you got them?
Absolutely. So, and that's a great question, Bob. So what we did, I had the idea, the core idea. I've had it for the last 25 years. Understanding what I wanted to do, how I wanted this academy to be structured. There is an overall underlying theme to each of the courses. It ties, basically we use 3 different pillars of knowledge. We use the scientific method, first of all. The methods and the techniques that we use must be scientifically reproducible. There must be studies that have been done on these methods that show that they work, first of all. We ground them in a philosophy that ties everything together, all 12 courses in all the various different subjects. They all are tied together in an underlying spiritual philosophy that is rational, that is not just a spiritual, fuzzy type of an idea, but a rationally, logically built idea that shows how all of these fit together in not a patchwork quilt, but basically how they all fit together into this one seamless theme. So everything must be philosophically grounded. It must be scientifically reproducible, the results. It must be proven as far as the methods that we use. And these methods must also, there must be a traditional grounding as well, to show that there's nothing new, that not only are we teaching, but there's nothing new about the methods that have always worked throughout the centuries. And we show how they're grounded in tradition, in cultural tradition, in the West as well as in the East as well. And I guided these writers, and they, and of course I told them some of the methods, obviously, that we wanted them to research, and I made sure that they also had the academic freedom to research other methods that fit in as well. That if these methods that I hadn't thought of yet, they would be doing the research, finding the information, gathering the documentation, and doing a great job of really bringing the best to ego science. And of course I would read over it, make sure that everything flowed, make sure that everything fit in, make sure that it was all appropriate, and put my stamp of approval on it.
Okay, could you give us an example of some of the countries, or did all your writers come from America, or did they come from other countries?
That's a great question. I looked for the best writers around the world. So we have writers from the UK. Obviously, we have writers from America. All of them with PhDs or at least master's degrees. Some of them with several master's degrees. I found them in Poland, in South Africa. I found them in sometimes over. There was an American who was living abroad. That was in Bali. We had a writer, from Serbia, and there's several different other countries that I am just not thinking of right now.
So the philosophy is just not strictly related to the Western Hemisphere, the America, if you will. It's related to basically the cultures and the academics of the world.
So in terms of a spiritual philosophy, that's one of the things that makes ego science unique. Most of the spirituality that you find out there is of an Eastern mindset. And I wanted to make, and a lot of times that will scare a lot of the Western mindset people away because they find it too foreign for their normal everyday thinking. I actually developed a lot of these ideas from a Western mindset, and given the approach of using something rationally, logically justifiable, philosophically justified, scientifically reproducible, and distinctly within a traditional, basically there's traditional precedent. I wanted to make sure that there's traditional precedent in the Western world, and also show that there's also a precedent in the Eastern world for many of these ideas as well. But I wanted to make sure that this is something that's comfortable for the Western mindset. Yes, there are ideas that come from all, I mean, obviously each of the writers did contribute from their own cultural background, but I wanted to make sure that it was also friendly to the Western mindset. That took precedent because, well, in America at least, that's the mindset that is most comfortable to people. That they're most easily acclimated to, and that comes, the learning comes the easiest from, is if it's familiar to them. So I made sure that everything has a Western feel to it, although it is certainly also grounded within the East as well. There is precedent in the East.
Okay. In the light of the complexities of what's going on in the world today, especially with the turmoil, we'll call it, in this country, America, that people disagree about what people say, etc., and the list goes on and on. How does ego science, or does it help clarify and mend bridges where we have such extreme polarities in this country? Would it help correct some of those problems that people became interested and bought into this academy?
Well, one of the major philosophical underpinnings of ego science is this tendency to find the commonality, the core commonality in most all ideas, but it's also about the freedom to choose your own path for yourself. So no matter what religion people would come from, if they come to ego science, they will see aspects of their religion and the compatibility of their religion within ego science. That's one of the things that we definitely tried to do, is to show the core compatibilities among a lot of, well, basically all of the cultures, some of the core compatibilities that actually make ego science work, and that form some of the core philosophical underpinnings of ego science's philosophy. So no matter what walk of life that you come from, you'll be able to see a reflection of your core beliefs in ego science. But we also make sure that people understand that there is an underlying overall theme that everything fits into. And although we can help people to see the reflection of where they come from in ego science, we also kind of show how everything can fit together almost universally. Not everyone is going to agree, and ego science will be controversial to many, but I did my best to have a bridge to all cultures and to find a commonality that we can all sort of agree with and come together on.
So prospective students, if they sign up for the academy and they believe a certain way, then the role of the instructors, if you want to call them that, I'll call them more of a guide, if you will, they do not judge what an answer is. They just help the person seek.
I see what you're saying, yeah. Right.
So what do you perceive as the role of the guide, instructor, what do you perceive as their role in helping the student?
Absolutely. So, ego science does not intend to change people's religious beliefs or to change their core value system. What we do attempt to help them to see the core aspects in ego science that agree with, that they can agree with, and we show them those values in a larger context so that they can also see how those values fit in with other value systems as well. And ultimately, if you're a Christian, when you leave ego science, you can maintain your Christianity. If you're a Hindu, you can leave ego science, maintain your Hindu religion. That's one of the beauties of ego science, is that although we do have an underlying theme of which we help to structure how people can found their mindset and their worldview, they don't have to change their religion to do it. They just have to see their religion in a larger context, and that's what ego science helps to do.
So, to the lay person out there that's interested in ego science, how do they go about obtaining more information about ego science?
Well, you can go to egoscience.com. We're also on YouTube as well as Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter, and Pinterest as well. So we're on social media. Just look up Ego Science, type it in to your social media, and you'll be able to find generally our channel there. And I guess it's just about time to wrap it up. Bob, were there any other questions that you had?
No, but I'll have additional questions in the future.
Absolutely.
Especially as we get feedback from the public about specific questions. The thing I look at is this: no question is silly, and every question will be answered to the best of our ability to address your needs as students.
Absolutely. And until next time, have a great day, stay positive, and I wish you the best in this dream we call life.